Did you know that some of the world's most creative people started with nothing but basic tools and raw ideas? It's true. Steve Jobs created the first Apple computer in a garage with just a handful of tools. And the famous painter Pablo Picasso only had a pencil and a few scraps of paper when he first began sketching his groundbreaking art. The truth is, creativity doesn't require expensive gear or fancy tools. What it really needs is your mind, your curiosity, and a willingness to play. In this video, we'll uncover why creativity is more about what you do with what you have than about what you own. You'll learn how limits can actually boost your creative ideas, why the best inventions often come from simple tools, and how embracing imperfection can help you think outside the box. So, if you've ever felt like you need the latest gadgets to be creative, this video will change your mind. Stick around, and you'll discover how to unlock your inner creativity without spending a dime on fancy gear. Chapter 1. The Secret Sauce. Imagination over gear. Creativity isn't about the tools you have. It's about how you use your imagination. The myth that you need fancy gadgets or expensive equipment is just that, a myth. In fact, some of the most creative minds in history started with little more than their imagination and basic tools. Steve Jobs once said, "Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things," which proves that creative ideas often come from simplicity. Take the iconic Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, painted with basic brushes and inexpensive paint. The magic wasn't in the materials, but in Van Gogh's ability to see the world differently. When we're surrounded by high-tech gadgets, it's easy to think that we need them to be creative. But look around. Some of the most famous artists, musicians, and writers worked with very little. Picasso, for example, created masterpieces using basic pencils and charcoal. It's not about spending money on the latest gear, it's about having a vision and following through. The key to creativity lies in your ability to dream, explore, and experiment. Think of creativity as a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. If you rely on tools to spark creativity, you're limiting your imagination. The true magic comes from inside, from your ability to see possibilities where others see limitations. Statistics show that when people are given fewer resources, they become more innovative. A study from Harvard Business School found that constraints often lead to more creative solutions. This proves that when you strip away distractions, like an over-reliance on gear, you give yourself space to think outside the box. So, how do you tap into this creative energy? Start by limiting your options. Use only what you already have. Try writing with a pen instead of a laptop, sketching on paper rather than using a fancy drawing tablet. You might be surprised by how this shift opens new doors in your mind. Chapter 2. The Power of Constraints. Why less is more. Constraints might sound like a bad thing, but they're actually the secret ingredient to boosting creativity. The famous artist Henri Matisse once said, "Creativity takes courage. Embracing limits forces you to think more resourcefully." When we are pushed to work within boundaries, it forces us to think creatively and find solutions we wouldn't have considered otherwise. The "less is more" philosophy works wonders because it challenges your mind to work harder. For example, the writer Ernest Hemingway famously wrote his shortest novel using just 6 words: "For sale. Baby shoes, never worn." This extreme constraint sparked immense creativity and emotion, proving that you don't need a full toolkit to tell a powerful story. Research supports this idea. In a study published by the Journal of Consumer Research, participants were more creative when they had limited options compared to those who had an abundance. In other words, constraints push you to think more inventively. This can apply to anything, from creating art to solving problems at work. One simple way to start using constraints is to limit your time. Set a timer for 10 or 20 minutes and try to create something with the materials at hand. This helps break free from perfectionism and encourages you to produce more ideas. You can also try using just 1 or 2 colors for a painting, or writing with only 1 sentence structure. The more you practice, the more you'll realize that creativity thrives under pressure. Sometimes, the best ideas come when we are forced to work within limitations. This explains why so many great inventions were born out of necessity. Think about the creation of the first iPhone. Apple had to make a phone that was both functional and sleek, using only the tools and technology available at the time. They found a way to make it work, and that resulted in a breakthrough product. So, next time you feel stuck, remember that your constraints could actually be your biggest asset. Limit yourself intentionally, and watch your creativity soar. Chapter 3. Unlocking hidden creativity in everyday objects. Everyday objects are a goldmine for creative inspiration. Whether you're looking at a paperclip, an old shoebox, or a discarded bottle, each object holds endless potential for new ideas. Often, the simplest things are overlooked, but that's where the true magic lies. Take the work of renowned architect Frank Gehry. He started his creative journey by manipulating small, everyday materials like cardboard and wood to prototype his designs. These materials were affordable, but they helped him build some of the world's most innovative and imaginative structures. Gehry once said, "The way you look at things is important." This is the essence of creativity, seeing the potential in ordinary things. A study by the University of London's Institute of Education revealed that children's creativity often peaks when they are given simple objects to play with, such as blocks or clay. When adults stop overthinking and use what's around them, they tap into the same creative energy. Creativity is all about perception and perspective. So, how can you start unlocking hidden creativity from the everyday objects around you? Begin by looking at things from a fresh angle. What can you create with a spoon, a rubber band, or an old magazine? Start simple. Make a sculpture out of a cereal box or write a story using only words from a newspaper. You'll be surprised at how quickly these humble objects can spark brilliant ideas. This isn't just about making art. It's also about solving everyday problems with creativity. Take the famous example of MacGyver, the TV character known for solving impossible problems using only random objects around him. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to approach challenges with this kind of MacGyver mindset. Next time you feel stuck or uninspired, look around you. The solutions might be closer than you think. The trick is in seeing the potential of ordinary things and transforming them into something extraordinary. Whether it's building something useful or just letting your imagination wander, everyday objects are a rich source of inspiration. If you're enjoying these tips, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the rest of the video. You'll be amazed at what's still to come. Chapter 4. The Art of Playing with Imperfection. Creativity thrives in imperfection. We often believe that great work must be flawless, but this isn't true. In fact, imperfections can make your creations more authentic and unique. As the famous author Margaret Atwood said, inspiration can come from anywhere, even from mistakes. When we allow ourselves to embrace flaws, we open up new pathways for creativity. Think about the world of music. The Beatles recorded "Hey Jude" in a single take, imperfections and all, and it became one of their most iconic songs. The rawness and authenticity of the recording were what made it special. Similarly, imperfections in art, like brushstrokes in a painting, can add character and depth. It's this roughness that makes a piece stand out. Research supports the power of imperfection. A study from the University of California found that people rated imperfect designs as more interesting and creative than perfect ones. This is known as the beauty of imperfection effect. It shows that our brains are wired to find value in things that aren't perfect because they feel more human and relatable. When you're creating something, give yourself permission to make mistakes. You don't need everything to be polished at first. In fact, start with messy drafts. Write badly, draw roughly, and build imperfect prototypes. This isn't failure, it's experimentation. Often, your best ideas come when you let go of perfection and just enjoy the process. Another great example is the pottery technique known as kintsugi. In Japan, broken pottery is repaired using gold or silver lacquer. The imperfection is seen as beautiful and adds to the value of the object. This philosophy can be applied to creativity. Mistakes and flaws aren't obstacles but opportunities to add something new. Next time you feel pressured to make everything perfect, remind yourself that imperfection is a valuable tool. Embrace it and watch your creativity flourish. Chapter 5. The Zen of Doing More with Less. Minimalism for maximum creativity. Minimalism isn't just a design trend, it's a powerful tool for boosting creativity. When you simplify your environment and focus on what truly matters, you open up space for more creative ideas to flow. Steve Jobs famously said, "Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works." This idea goes beyond products, it's about how you live and create. When you reduce distractions, you can focus more on the task at hand. A cluttered workspace leads to a cluttered mind. Studies show that physical clutter can actually make it harder to think clearly. According to a report from Princeton University, having a disorganized environment can reduce your ability to focus and process information. Minimalism isn't about having fewer things, it's about prioritizing what's essential. When you get rid of the excess, you can concentrate on your creative process without the distractions of unnecessary gadgets. In fact, many of the world's most creative minds embrace minimalism. For example, author Ryan Holiday writes about the value of simplicity in his book The Daily Stoic. By focusing on fewer things, we can invest more of our energy into creating something meaningful. Try a minimalist approach in your next project. Limit your tools to just a few items, and focus on how you can make the most out of them. A simple pencil and paper, for example, can be used to sketch out complex ideas. You don't need 10 different colors or an expensive computer program to start a project. Sometimes, the fewer tools you use, the more creative you'll be. One of the best ways to practice minimalism is by decluttering your workspace. Take a look at your desk. What truly adds value to your creativity? Keep only the essentials, and remove anything that distracts you. You'll be amazed at how much more you can get done with less. Minimalism can also help you let go of the fear of failure. When you're not overwhelmed by options, you can take risks and experiment more freely. You don't have to worry about making a perfect final product. Instead, you can enjoy the process and embrace the freedom that comes with simplicity. Remember, creativity doesn't come from an abundance of things, it comes from clarity of thought. So, clear the clutter and make room for your creative ideas to shine. Chapter 6. Cultivating your inner child. Creativity is play. Creativity is often at its best when we approach it like a child, curious, playful, and free of judgment. Children are naturally creative because they haven't yet learned to limit themselves. Albert Einstein once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." When we reconnect with that childlike mindset, we can unlock a whole new world of creative possibilities. One reason children are so creative is because they see the world without rules. They don't worry about being perfect or how others will judge their work. This lack of fear is what allows them to explore and experiment freely. As we grow older, we tend to lose this sense of wonder and playfulness, often because we fear failure or judgment. But what if we could recapture that playfulness as adults? The good news is, we can. Studies show that engaging in playful activities, like doodling, improvisation, or spontaneous movement, can spark creativity. In fact, a study by the University of Cambridge found that people who engage in creative play are more likely to come up with innovative ideas. Play isn't just fun, it's a serious tool for unlocking creativity. So, how can you cultivate your inner child? Start by doing things just for the fun of it. Doodle on a piece of paper, build something with blocks, or sing in the shower. Don't worry about making something good. Just play. Give yourself permission to experiment without expectations. Another way to incorporate play into your creative routine is by taking breaks and letting your mind wander. When you take time to play, your brain enters a state of relaxed focus, which is ideal for creative thinking. The best ideas often come when you step away from your desk and let your mind roam free. You can also encourage play in your work by setting fun challenges for yourself. For instance, try writing a poem in 10 minutes or making a drawing with your non-dominant hand. These playful exercises break down creative blocks and help you discover new ideas. Next time you feel stuck, remember that creativity is a form of play. Take the pressure off, and let your imagination run wild. Approach your projects with the playful curiosity of a child, and you'll see your creativity soar. By now, you've seen how creativity isn't about the tools or resources you have. It's about your mindset, your ability to embrace imperfection, and your willingness to play and experiment. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to take these strategies and apply them to your daily life, making creativity a habit.